All right, this is fantastic. I'm very excited. We're going all the way to Orlando, to the NBA bubble. Are you out there, Matthew Shelton?
I am here. I hear you loud and clear, Brian. Yeah, man, we're inside the bubble. It's a little crazy down here, but I think it's been, from what I'm told, 7 or 8 weeks we've been here. Feels like both 7 days and 700 days all at once.
Right, so maybe tell it, because from the outside, it looks like a great experience. There's pools, there's food, but what is daily life like there?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things for us is we're testing every day, right? So like as soon as you get up, we have not only are we going to go test in person, but we have to take our temperatures, we have to take our pulse oximeter, we have to check our oxygen in our blood. I mean, we're doing stuff every day to make sure that we don't have that. Absolutely nobody on this campus has any sort of coronavirus, right? And then really the biggest thing is we get to then, we go eat, they feed us every meal, everything is like centralized. We're at the we're at the Coronado Springs. So I don't know if anybody that is watching has been to Disney World, but that's our campus layout. So all of the remaining teams that are still in the playoffs are here at Coronado Springs. So I mean, really, it's like summer camp. You're just you're sitting there eating lunch, and Kawhi will drive by on a golf cart, or LeBron James is riding a bike by you, or you see Nick Nurse playing cornhole. It's weird, but it's cool, and everybody's interacting and hanging out. The families have arrived, so you see some little kids now, which is I haven't seen a kid in I don't know 2 months. It's kind of weird, right? It's only
Right,
been us adults. So it's just cool, and there are pools we can hang out. I was actually at the pool today. Thankfully, I had an off day today, so we
right.
don't get very many of those. But
No, and
I
that's the
got
thing.
one today.
I should introduce how we know each other. It's through the
Yes.
Oakland A's. Dick Callahan introduced us, and tell us your background. I mean, for people that don't know, I mean, I think it was Arizona State, Alhambra
Yeah.
High School, and then yeah, I mean, you do interesting things. But it all started. Well, I met you with the A's. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, I grew up in Martinez. My parents are from Martinez. My grandparents lived in Martinez. So that's a town that I've spent a lot of time in. I went to Alhambra High School, like you mentioned. I went to DVC actually as well. So I'm like an East Bay, Martinez, like Pleasant Hill guy. And then I went to ASU. I for a little while was with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and then I luckily enough landed a job with the Oakland A's. So with the A's, I was what the in-game producer. So I was the one that was organizing all of the game entertainment you saw at the Coliseum from 2012 through the 2017 season. I worked with Dick Callahan, as you mentioned. I like to say I was Dick's boss, one of the only people that can actually say that. I wrote all the game scripts, organized all the anthems. I was there when we brought in those big racers. So you had Ricky, Raleigh, and Eck. Like that was an idea that came out of when I was there. Uh, so basically, I'm in charge of game entertainment. After the A's, I moved to Toronto. I worked with the Blue Jays for a year, and then the job with the Lakers opened up. I got to say, like it was absolutely. I thought I had no chance. I applied, and I ended up getting the job. It's really like a dream job for me. I mean, working for an organization like this is absolutely crazy. I never thought something like that was going to happen. And working in the NBA is really cool because I'll tell you, we have a clock in the NBA. So even if you go into overtime, it doesn't take anywhere near as long as an extra inning baseball game. So no, it's been a great experience. So now I'm doing all of that same stuff I did for the A's. I'm running all the in-game entertainment for the Lakers, which means I'm in charge of like timing for the Laker girls, timing for all of the opens and shooting with the players, and really just creating an experience for the fans that go to the game. What you see is what we do. Anything that happens on the court that's not basketball, organized by us.
Right, and now you're doing it in the bubble for the
Yeah.
Lakers and other teams. I sent you a text the other night. You were right there. Tell people you sit in the penalty box that the people see on TV, and it was what? It was Jazz and the Nuggets.
Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was
that
game
game. Go ahead.
seven.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was game seven
it
actually.
was.
So if you've been watching games from the bubble, there is where the scorers table usually is at center court on the far side away from the camera. Now there's a plexiglass area that separates us from both the players and referees. If I am actually sitting right next to the home team coach. So if you look in the front, you'll see us with our mask on, right? So you see about this much of me. But we'll be sitting right there, and I'm calling the game from there. I'm organizing all of the anthem and all of the in-game stuff that's happening in venue. For now, there's families here, but it's mostly players, families. And then some stuff does make it on TV, but we're trying to bring energy and atmosphere to an arena that doesn't have people in it. And it's a totally 180 experience from everything that I'm used to. But outside of working Lakers games, I have worked games for, I mean, there were 22 teams that started here. I would say I worked games for 17 of them. So it's a really unique experience to get to work with the game directors that couldn't be here in Orlando, and we run their games for them. So only, I think, out of the 22 teams that were here, maybe 8 of them sent people. It was a selection process by the NBA, and I opted to give up 3 months of my life to come down here and live in this hotel room that you see.
Right.
But it's been a super unique experience, and it's been being that I've only been in the league 2 years, really getting to know all the other guys who do my job around the league, guys, men and women. And it's been great. And learning all of their styles is really awesome experience for us, right?
Right.
It's
You
things
know how
like,
you're doing a good job? I was watching a game the other night with my dad, and with all the crowd noise, he asked me where the game is being played, and he knew. And I said, Dad, they're all in the same spot.
Yep.
I mean, it's incredible what you guys are doing.
Yeah, so when I'm not game directing, I'm actually the one that's they have us in the back helping manage the crowd noise that you hear. So basically we're working with, there are a couple guys that are actually hitting the buttons that make the noise happen. But we're kind of directing them what to do. Like, hey, the crowd would swell here, or hey, all right, that's a bad moment for the home team. I want to bring it down a little bit. And so hopefully when you hear that on TV, you actually get the feel of what it's like in an arena, right? Because those people aren't really here, but the players hear that too on the court. So they can hear it and they can react to the crowd noise as well.
Right. And the campus, so you're at a hotel, and then you see, are there like 3 places they play, or 2? How many different places are they that you play?
We started with 3.
Yeah.
But once we got to the playoffs, they went down to 2. Because
Okay.
there's less teams, less need for multiple venues. And then after this round we're in now, so after round 2, we'll be down to 1 venue.
Okay.
So we'll have only 1 venue. But they're actually not really that big of venues. They're usually what they host is like a gymnastics events or volleyball, a lot of high school events, cheerleading competitions, and some basketball. But it's really interesting to have. It's basically like a court with lights on it. And then there's not really anything else in these arenas, right? The boards that you see, and that's it. There's some seats for people to be at. It's really, really cool, a unique experience. And we didn't know what to expect walking into this, right? And what we got is we're just blown away. The league has done an amazing job, and I hope that's coming through on TV as well.
It sure is. And then the other thing I'm saying, what about, like, as I said, you did this for the A's, you did this for the Blue Jays. But the Lakers, I mean, that's Hollywood. I mean,
Yeah.
Tell people about it. I mean, it's a step up.
Yeah. Here's the thing I would say. It kind of feels like we're doing a playoff game every game. Like, we don't get to take a night off. It doesn't matter if we're playing the Celtics on a Sunday on ABC, or if we're playing, I'm not going to call anybody out, but if we're playing one of the lower level teams on a Tuesday night, we have to bring a certain level of production every single night. So we have a gigantic curtain drop that happens. You may have seen things like that done in the playoffs. We do it every single game. That projects our open. That's 60 feet tall. We have in our venue right now, we hold the world record for number of laser beams, individual laser beams, in an indoor arena that's like our permanent. And it's just everything we do is dialed up. It's supposed to be showtime. We really push the level to just, I try to look at it like the fans are paying a lot of money to come see what we do. A lot of it's about what's on the court, but we need to really push all that and give them even a better experience. I don't want to say anything bad about where other places I've worked, right? We did great work when we were there. It just weren't a completely different level, budget-wise, entertainment-wise, who we can pull into the arena. I mean, when I was with the A's, Denzel wasn't sitting behind the A's dugout, right? Jack wasn't sitting at the games, right? Nothing wrong with that, but it's just like it's a completely different level what we get to do, and it's really fun for me, right? To be able to try to push myself, and growing into this role was cool. I can't imagine if I went the other way, right? Starting with the Lakers and try to go to another team, it would have been a lot more difficult. This is just like a really unique experience. I know how lucky I am to get to do it, and I just love going to work every day. It's cool.
Right. I just thought of something. You've been there 2 years. Who
Yeah.
signed first, you or LeBron?
You know what's funny about that? That's a wonderful question. I can tell you exactly where I was. I was living in Toronto. It was Canada Day, which is their Independence Day, which is July 1st. I was out on a patio. I was having some drinks with friends, and the Lakers called me and offered me the job, right? Called me, offered me the job. I was so excited. 20 minutes later, the alert comes on my phone. LeBron signs with the Lakers. So it was it was right there at the exact same day we came together. We were a package deal. I think what happened was he heard that I was going and he decided to sign, right? We pushed it over the top.
That's it. He waited 20 minutes after. I mean,
Yeah.
no, what a question. I had no idea.
Yeah. It's actually a super interesting story, man. It's crazy how that worked out, but it's cool. You know,
no.
that happens sometimes. So when I came to the A's, I actually, it was the day I took the job was the day the A's acquired, they made the trade for Jared Parker. I don't know if you remember Jared Parker, the pitcher that was on the A's. A's fans, I'm sure do. This was early 2012. And he was actually the first person I ever interviewed with the Diamondbacks because he was our first draft pick when I first started there. So I interviewed him, and I moved to the A's, and he got traded the same day. So I was the only person, I think, outside of him that was at every single one of the starts he ever made at home. Both teams. Kind of interesting. Weird stuff how that works out, but same idea.
No, it's the coincidence is another thing. You mentioned like the fans. You mentioned Jack Nicholson. If the Lakers keep winning, who's going to get him into the bubble?
That's a wonderful question. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the rules and restrictions on bringing celebrities or people here, but I know they do have a sneaky area that's behind some plexiglass that doesn't get down to where we are. Maybe we can sneak them into there.
Okay. No. And then what about this? Like working, you must have flown in with the Lakers. What's it like being around the Lakers? I mean, they're almost like, is it like a traveling circus almost?
Yeah, man. They're rock stars. LeBron is probably one of the most famous people he's one of the most famous people in the world, right? We were in China with them this preseason, what feels like 6 years ago, but it was last October. And you can just see, even in China, he is one of the most famous people. I mean, he's mobbed everywhere he goes. Traveling with him and Anthony Davis and these guys, it's crazy. It's really cool to see people's expression when they get to meet him. And he's actually one of the nicest people I've ever met. Super cool guy. Always down to do what we need from him. He's funny, and he just gets it. He gets being on camera. He understands how to interact and how to treat people the right way.
And that's also neat because with the basketball, you probably really get to know the guy because there's just like 12 of them. And the not that it was huge, but baseball was like 24. And what about, and also when I was visiting you in Oakland, you're way up top. Where are you at courtside for the games? Where are you for the games at Staples?
Yeah, so I am courtside at the scorer's table. Basically, probably if you watch it on TV, the PA announcer sits right on the center court line. I'm sitting right next to him, right to his left, or hit to his right, so camera left. But if you saw it, that's where I'm sitting. So my parents always text me like, "Hey, we saw you on TV." I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool. I got you." I just know that with the A's, if you got mad or something wasn't going right, you could wear it on your face. They never caught you on camera. Here, with the Lakers, I can't do that, man. I was mad. It was like the third game I worked, and something went wrong, and I was mad. You can see it on my face. And my guys with the A's, Justin, I think you met him the last time you were there. He texted me a picture. This was maybe 30 seconds later, where Kyle Kuzma was inbounding the ball, and you see me behind him just like, I'm just so mad. And he goes, "Gotcha." And I'm like, oh, man, I can't do it. I just have to sit there calm, right? You have to be – it's totally different. Like, you can't wear your emotions on your face when you're at the scorer's table. I learned the hard way.
Right.
Yeah, they got me pretty good.
No, but also, we joking around here. You work harder than the players. The players might work 3 or 4 hours a day. Tell people how many hours a day you're working.
Yeah, on a game day, we start at probably between 8:30, 9 a.m. We get to the office, and that's not even at the venue. We're at the office, our offices, which are off-site, maybe 20 miles away. And And we work to prepare. We make sure we have all the scripts right. We make sure we have the anthem singer right. The who's giving out the game ball. All those things have to be scripted by myself, my manager of game entertainment, Chris Cunanan, who's actually here with me in the bubble. The two of us came down together. And then our game director back home, Matt Evans. So the three of us have to work together to make sure we have all the scripting right. And then I have to work with our backstage manager, Jared Ponce. So the four of us are the entire department. So we have to make sure that anybody who's singing the anthem has to get from their car down to center court. Anybody who needs to, any like corporate partner stuff that needs to move around. All that stuff has to be planned before we even get to the arena. Probably around there, about 1 o'clock, we get to the arena. Then we test all the videos. After that, we go do any run-throughs that we need to with the host. We come back. We do more testing with the entire crew. You set up all the cameras. You make sure the open videos work. You make sure the lasers work. We make sure our PA has all the scripts. And that's when you do an anthem run-through. And we run through any of our partner elements that actually have to be tested on court. Our half-court shot, all that kind of stuff. And then actually get ready for the game. Game starts at 7. We've been working 10 hours already. By the time the game is over, by the time I get home, it's been a 13, 14-hour day.
Wow.
I can say for sure baseball was worse because you do it every single day. Basketball, we do it half the number of times. We get breaks in between. But they're long days, man. No doubt. But I love it. Like, I can't even imagine doing anything else. Like, I've been doing sports for 13, 14 years. I had a real job before that. I worked at Wells Fargo. I used to actually be the teller for Dick Callahan. So I knew Dick before I worked for the A's. Long time ago, I knew Dick. I was probably 19 years old. 20 years ago, I met Dick for the first time. But baseball, it is worse. But it's just different for us because we're ramped up, like we said before, right? We have to bring a different level every day. Because games are less frequent, we have to provide more entertainment.
Right. Was that the Wells Fargo by Sun Valley?
Right by Sun Valley. I was there 2 years, man.
Yeah. No, I know that. Next to Burger King.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I worked there for 2 years. That was my first job when I was going to DVC. That's where I worked.
Right down the street from DVC. I'm trying to think. We'll talk to you a little bit more. I mean, we'll figure out we could do more in the future. I mean, this is even better than I thought it would be. I mean, this is. And this all happened, it was about 3 weeks ago. I was sitting here reading ESPN, and they were talking about in-game entertainment, and there were quotes from Matthew Shelton. And I said, wait a minute, I know this guy. So I send you a DM to get back in touch. And that's my problem. I think I'm supposed to be DMing women, but I'm too busy DMing you, but I knew this would be great. And even for me, as I said, just watch, because I watch so much of it. You're on the campus. What's your favorite thing to do when you have a little bit of downtime? Is it the swimming? Is it cornhole?
Yeah, we actually, my favorite thing to do, I actually hurt myself. I'll be honest. I am hurt my right leg right now. I've been on crutches for the last week. I put them just out of frame. They're right over there. There's my crutches.
Okay. I see it.
Yeah. So I ruptured a tendon in my leg playing pickleball. But I will say that was the most fun thing to do down here. But now, the pool's great. It's good just to get to know these people because there are other people that do what I do. They're on this campus. We're hanging out. There's one bar we can go to, so we watch the basketball games together at night if we're not working them. Like tonight, I'm gonna go watch the who's on tonight. I know the Clippers are on later.
I'm not sure. I think it's the Celtics and Raptors.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go watch that. I got 2 teams I can root against. So go Raptors and go Nuggets, right? So we just really like being able to interact with everybody and really getting to know these people, learning a lot. And then working the games is really the most fun, man. Working the games is great. Like I am seeing so many teams that I really get to see. The Eastern Conference comes only once a year. Watching Toronto up close was cool. The Bucks, Giannis, like he's an unbelievable player. Watching him up close is cool. But I think honestly, my favorite part is probably the little bit of like fanboy you have from when you're like 12 years old. I literally can walk outside and see Giannis walk by or LeBron walk by or interact with like, a player as they walk by. If you really want to, you could just say, hey, how's it going? And their guards let down because they know there's no fans here, right? There's no one asking them for stuff. There's no one. So they're really just like having fun probably for the first time since they were in high school, right? Or college where they could really let their guard down and just enjoy it. You see them at their pool. It's really funny, you know. They're just kind of hanging around. They're playing volleyball and other things. It's a really cool environment, man.
Right. And I'm trying to think, so you guys have the whole hotel to yourself? There's no other guests there?
Nobody's here. We have it's actually a pretty big campus. So there's actually 4 different hotels here at this hotel. So there's a tower the players are in. There's casitas, which we're in. So it's only like 4-story hotels on this side. There's the ranchos, which they put the family in now. So the family's all arrived. And there's one other part that's just empty. It's empty, you know, and it's cool because the officials are here too. And they love going to the pool, man. They play pickleball. They play pool volleyball, anything they can turn into a sport, they will turn into a sport. They're the most competitive guys I've ever seen. They're worse than the basketball players.
But then who officiates those games?
Yeah, it's funny. You would ask that. There's one of them that sits out to the side and will officiate if they need it.
Okay. That's it. The tables are turned there. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to name a few more. It's just wonderful. What about this? I see you have like an extra bed. Can you get me into the bubble?
Man. I don't know how much money that would take, you know? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think I got that, you know, and then it would cause problems because there become reports that there's like a middle-aged man on all the water slides. Who is this guy? How did he get here? So maybe it's best if I just keep watching on TV.
There you go.
What about like your daughters? Is it FaceTiming? How are you staying in touch with them?
Yeah, it's a lot of FaceTime. Sadly, they both had birthdays when I was here. I had a birthday in here, actually. It's kind of weird. But it was my 39th. I didn't think that was that important, right? Next year, I don't know if I'm coming, if there's another bubble. 40, I might have to sit that one out. But they turned 13 and 11 just last week. So it was cool. I sent them, we got to, talk on FaceTime and stuff. We do that a lot. So it's nice to be able to see them and ask what they're up to. Yeah, man, that's the hardest part, right? I have a girlfriend and a dog back home too. That I'm sure they're missing me. Maybe the dog more than the girlfriend. I don't know. We'll see.
No, okay. I'm trying to think. Anything else? We covered a lot. We can do more. Anything you want to add, Matt?
I just think it's cool, man. It's been a long time. I think the last time we talked, what do you think? 2016, maybe.
I think so.
When we did that in Oakland.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like a lot has changed, right, in these 4 years. That if you would have told me in 4 years, hey, you'll be working for the Lakers, but you'll be in Orlando working their home games, I'd be like, you are insane. You're insane. So, hey, man, it's cool. I'm glad we can catch back up. And it's really, I've been following what you're doing. You got a lot of, there's De La Salle athletes everywhere that I see you talking to. It's cool, man. I'm just glad to be a part of it. I'm not a De La Salle guy, but you let me into the club. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, it's just wonderful. I'll stop the stream here and I'll talk to you briefly, but I can't thank you enough. I mean, I knew this would be great. It was even better than I thought it would be.
Thanks, Brian, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad you hit me up.
Okay, very cool. Hold on a second.